Hi doctor, I'm Kirtana Manikam, metric number 3000389. I'm going to present about the effects of internal and external factors on the credit risk of United Overseas Bank, Malaysia from 2014 to 2023. Now I'm going to present about the background. United Overseas Bank, Malaysia, UOB, is top banks, one of the top banks in Malaysia, and which enjoys long-term AAA rating by RAM, which is Rating Agency of Malaysia. And this bank is over 70 years in Malaysia, and I also have 55 branches nationwide, offers both conventional and Islamic banking. It has subsidiary of UOB Group Asia based with 500 office in 19 countries and largest number of branches, 45 among foreign bank in Malaysia. This bank is this bank's main office in Kuala Lumpur and provides commercial and personal banking services. The services are includes loans, credit cards, investment banking, treasury, trade services, fund and asset management, and also life and general insurance. Okay, now we have to move on to the problem statement. Problem statement here is credit risk exposure. Credit risk exposure in 2023 is 170,233,765, while 2022 is 163,958,407. Okay, here we can see the difference, which is increased about 6275358. Okay, the increase is due to the expansion of lending activities, which is such as retail and corporate loans. This is results in higher credit exposure in annual report. Moving to next, which is research objectives. Here we have three research objectives, which is number one is to identify the internal or company specific factors that may have an impact on the credit risk of United Overseas Bank Malaysia. Second is to determine which macroeconomic or external factors may have an impact on the credit risk of United Overseas Bank Malaysia. Third one is to look into the potential external and internal variable that influences on United Overseas Bank Malaysia's credit risk. Next is research questions. There also have three. First is there any relationship between United Overseas Bank Malaysia's credit risk and internal factors? Second, is there any relationship between United Overseas Bank Malaysia's credit risk and external or macroeconomic factors? And third one is there any relationship between the credit risk of United Overseas Bank Malaysia and internal and external variables? So these objectives and questions are the use will use for the is used for the research this for this study. Okay, we're moving on to the next, which is literature review. Okay, first is credit risk. We have to know what is credit risk means. Credit risk is the risk that a borrower will not repay a loan. According to Stiglitz and Weiss, 1981, credit risk rises from information asymmetry between the banks and the borrower is a close component of causing adverse selection, in which riskier borrowers have higher prospects of a loan than less risky borrowers. Next, loan. Loan means money borrowed that must be repaid with interest. Okay. Then loan loss provision. Loan loss provision is money set aside by banks to cover the potential loan defaults. Here we have the explanation that loan loss provision strongly depend on how a bank sees its degree of credit risk, and this as both a kind of risk management as well as an income smoothing impact. Next, capital adequacy ratio, which is which means a bank's ability to absorb losses and remain financially stable. And next, liquidity. Liquidity is the ability to meet short-term financial obligations. Here we have, according to Vodova, P 2011, when the bank risk of credit is high, the bank tends to follow a more conservative balance of its liquidity to avoid loss in case it does occur. These are the internal factors. Next is external factor. External factor GDP. GDP means gross domestic product, which means the total value of all goods and services produced within a country in a specific time period. Okay, here we can see that credit risk is likely to increase as the growth in real GDP decelerates because low economic activity dams debt servicing ability in various sectors. Next is inflation. Inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services rises over time. We also have other external factors like exchange rate, interest rate, and market risk. Okay, next is methodology. This study is focuses on the relationship between UOB, United Overseas Bank Malaysia, and the credit risk. Determinants is examined using annual reports from 2014 to 2023, and I use the tool to examine this study is SPSS, IBM SPSS to 26 version 26, and here we have credit risk. The credit risks include external factors, internal factors, and also internal and external factors. Findings and analysis. Okay, here is the descriptive statistics, and here we have internal and external factors. Okay, this study examines 13 internal factors of United Overseas Bank Malaysia. The average credit risk is 1.53%, meaning about it's 1.53% of the bank's assets are at risk of loan defaults, indicating a stable risk level. And then ROA is 1.02%, showing that the bank's earned is 1.02 cent for every 1 ringgit in assets, reflecting consistent profitability. Liquidity risk is 8.62 percentage, meaning that the bank holds enough liquid assets to cover this percentage of short-term liabilities, though the position varies over time. The bank collects 5.84 cent in interest income for every 1 ringgit in average loan balances annually, showing predictable earnings from lending. The loans to assets ratio is 0.71%, which changes significantly over time, suggesting high volatility in loan levels. Loan loss provisions are 0.35 percentage, meaning that the bank sets aside a small portion to cover potential losses. Next, debt to equity ratio is 126 percentage, indicating 1.26 ringgit of debt for every 1 ringgit of equity. The debt to total asset ratios is 10.8%, showing moderate dependence on debt financing. The total assets to equity ratio is high at 175.37, suggesting strong financial leverage and changes in capital structure. The risk weighted assets RWA to total assets ratio is 1.59 percentage, meaning only a small portion of assets is considered risky for regulatory purposes. Tier 1 capital is 8.57%, indicating a strong capital base. The ratio is 16.02 percentage, and the capital adequacy ratio is 16.89 percentage, both showing the bank is well capitalized and financially strong. And then the external factors. The studies include 10 macroeconomic factors, which are inflation rate 2.22 percentage, interest rate 2.8 percentage, exchange rate 4.11 percentage, yield curve 2.8 percentage, GDP growth 5.17 percentage, M1A 8.52 percentage, M2 5.24 percentage, M3 5.18 percentage, market risk 0.029, and reserve money 9.44 percentage. These external factors help to understand the broader economic impact on the bank's credit risk. Next is persons R correlation. Here we can see the strong correlation with credit risk is only loan, which is negative 0.739, which is above 0.70. And we also have the moderate correlation, which is ROA, liquidity, DTAR, CAR, interest rate, yield curve, exchange rate, market risk, and reserve money. Weak correlations is LLP, DER, EM, RWA, REGA, GCAP, leverage, inflation, GDP, M1A, M2, M3. Moving to the p-value test. Here are some variables significant to relationship with credit risk, which are ROA 0.016, liquidity 0.096, ratio of interest income to annual average loan 0.063, loan 0.007, exchange rate 0.039, and reserve money is 0.078, which is these are the variables that is under p value, which is under zero point 1. Moving to model summary. Okay, first we see the internal variable one. Model one shows a strong relationship, which is R is equals to 0.931, R square is 0.867, meaning 86.7% of credit risk variance is explained by internal factors. The lower adjusted R square is 0.401, which refers to possible overfitting the model as low error. And moving to model 2, which is show that a strong correlation, which is R is equals to 0.904 and R2 is 0.816, meaning that 81.6% of credit risk variation is explained by external factors. However, the low adjusted R square is 0.173, suggested that overfitting or weak true predictive power. And then model 3 is shows that strong relationship between the variation in credit risk is explained by the predictor, which is R is 0.899 and R square is 0.806, indicating the 80.9 percentage explained by the predictors. And the negative adjusted R square is negative 0.723, which is suggested that overfitting or too many variables in the model. Next is ANOVA. ANOVA model 1 shows that the internal factors reflect the total regression model, which is not significant, explains the variance in credit risk. Okay, which is the p-value is greater than zero point 0.1, which is 0.394. And ANOVA model 2 shows that external factors, which reflects the total regression model, which is not significantly explain variance in credit risk, which is p-value is greater than zero point 0.1, which is 0.509. And then the model ANOVA model 3 shows the internal and external factors reflects the total regression model, not significant because p-value is greater than zero point 0.1, which is 0.794. So the 3 model shows that p-value is greater than zero point 0.1, which is not significant, which is any of the model 3 models is not significant to the credit risk. Next, coefficient. Model 1 shows the result of the coefficient analysis for internal factors indicate that the ROA, liquid risk, loan, LLP, DER, EM, and WRA have no significant impact on United Overseas Bank Malaysia's credit risk. The reason is p-values are greater than zero point 0.1, which are 0.760, 0.667, 0.166, 0.370, 0.281, 0.768, and 0.479. Model 2 says that the results of the coefficient analysis for external factors, which indicates the inflation rate, exchange rate, yield curve, M1A, M2, STDV, and reserve money, have no significant impact on United Overseas Banks Malaysia's credit risk. This is because the p-values are greater than zero point 0.1, which are 0.565, 0.906, 0.632, 0.350, 0.507, 0.982, 0.909, and 0.365. Model 3 shows that the result of the coefficient analysis for internal and external factors indicate that DER, EM, RWA, CAR, M1, M2, STDV, and reserve money have no significant impact on United Overseas Bank Malaysia's credit risk. This is because the p-values are greater than zero point 0.1, which are 0.604, 0.807, 0.667, 0.982, 0.424, 0.652, 0.899, 0.811, and 0.382. So here we can see that any of these models also have have no significant impact to the credit risk of United Overseas Bank Malaysia, and that is the conclusion here. Okay, now conclusion. What we can conclude is the United Overseas Bank Malaysia has a powerful credit risk management process because no single variable has a predominant or significant effect on its total credit risk. This would be an indication that the bank does not have placed a lot of emphasis on one parameter in its lending or risk evaluation operations, but instead it has a balanced and integrated risk management policy. There's no strong influence of any single factor, which implies that the bank has a rather stable credit portfolio due to the rather considered borrower evaluation, diversify of the assets allocation, and constant state of the loan performance. The practices assist in making sure that any variance in financial ratios or external economic factors do not balance out and cause its credit risk to be disproportionately affected, which rests on the power of the bank to deal with credit exposures in a manner that is manageable and systematic. Moving to the last one, which is limitations. Okay, United Overseas Bank Malaysia has a lot of number of limitations, but there are few we can really focus on, which is in the first place is it depends largely on publicly disclosed financial information that might not adequately represent the internal credit evaluation procedures, borrower risk scoring, and loan level information, which are very essential elements to a proper credit risk analysis. Second one is it is a study of historical data going to 2023 that has a shortcoming of not being able to capture the current economic changes like the long run implications of COVID-19 or changes in monetary policy. The third one is UOB Malaysia is the part of regional banking program. Thus, the impact of external factors such as geopolitical tensions or regulatory changes in the Asian markets as not fully addressed in the study. Finally, the bank employs sophisticated internal models, including the internal ratings based IRB approach, and therefore the risk management practices cannot be compared with other banks so easily, which restricts the applicability of the results. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.